Hello folks, here I am again with another video story that I've entitled Come Discover With Me How I Choose to Deal with the Panic, the fear surrounding this global health pandemic, COVID-19. Excuse me, I don't know where you live in this world, but regardless, I don't think that you could have escaped. You could have escaped the panic, fear, mayhem, madness, craziness that has come to be associated with this health pandemic, COVID-19. It has hit every human activity. I don't know which part of this world has not been affected or infected by COVID-19. It's the worst that I've seen in my whole entire life. And while I am trying so hard to remain calm and reasonable, I must say that it is getting to me, that it is frightening. And the scariest thing is that I don't think anybody really knows how bad it will get, whether we've seen the bottom or the end of it, and how many lives it will claim, and nobody really has any idea how it will go, what direction. I mean, we have fortunately seen the examples of how the Chinese, the people in Singapore, how the South Koreans are dealing with it. But we also have seen what is happening in Italy, and that is alarming and that is frightening. It's true that what we see is that most of the victims of COVID-19, I mean the lives that have been claimed, are mainly of the elderly, and mainly of the elderly or people with pre-existing medical conditions, you see. But we also do know that the virus mutates, it changes its forms, and so will it get any deadlier, or will our human immune system be able to adapt quickly enough to render this virus ineffective, like all the other strains of flus that we have had over the years? The human immune system has been able to, to fight these foreign bodies and have rendered them harmless. But right now, I don't know, it's too early to see or decide. But I'm doing this video simply because I think I need to talk. I need to talk about my fears. I need to talk about my panic. But I also need to share how I am dealing with the situation. Of course, I'm sure like many of you, you are teleworking. You have to work remotely. And how are you dealing with this new way of working? Because of course it is new for many of us. I have teleworked sometime in the past, but the situation wasn't like this. It wasn't surrounded by panic and fear. It was something that it was something that I did then, but it wasn't because the whole city was in lockdown situation, and that this was something mandatory, that it was not something voluntary, but it was something that I had to do, and that the whole organization basically have been sent home to work remotely, and so this is something new. And so for me, it's like, okay, this is unprecedented, the situation and the times are uncertain, but how can I take advantage of this situation and turn it for my good? How can I use this unprecedented, fearful, panicky situation and build and create good from it. And create good from it by, for example, adopting healthy habits that I've been struggling up until now to adopt into my daily life. But how can I seize this opportunity to adopt healthy habits into my life? So I identified 12 healthy habits that I will use this teleworking period to try to establish as a routine into my day, not only while I telework, but afterwards, And so these are the 12 things that I have identified that I am incorporating into my day, being kind and gentle with myself. So even if I don't get it right the first time, it's okay. I'm a work in progress, and so is the work of incorporating these healthy habits into my daily life. So the first thing I have decided to do is not to panic, because panic will only make a bad situation even worse. The body does not need panic at all. Actually, the immune system right now is what will get all of us through this. It's that we build a strong immune system in our bodies to be able to fight this new strain of the virus. And the only way we do that is really to put our body in the best fighting position, and that is not to panic. It's rather to put our body into what they call the rest and relaxation mode, so that it will get the immune system working. So the first thing basically I'm saying is I refuse to panic, and one way I get over, or I deal with my panic, is that early in the morning, somehow, I don't know why, my system wakes me up at 5 o'clock in the morning. So what I do is that I take time to have what I call a quiet time. Is I use this time to meditate on the word of God. I use this time to pray. I use this time to be grateful and thankful. I use this time to express my gratitude to everything that I have in life. I use this time to try to calm my spirit, and transcending, or putting taking my mind to another realm of thinking. And so this is one way that I try to deal with the panic. And the second thing that I do is, of course, news. And where I get my news is very important. So I am very selective right now about my news sources for information about the COVID-19. So I stick to the Swiss news. I stick to information from WHO. I do follow the BBC and the Guardian, because I'm interested in to see how the UK is dealing with this pandemic, because after China, in Europe, I think the UK is one of the hardest hit, apart from Italy. So it's interesting to see how the UK is dealing with it, because, as we know, they have one of the most highest population density in Europe. So if they're able to beat this pandemic, or contain it, then it means the other European countries can do so. So I listen to the BBC, I read The Guardian, just to have an idea of what mechanisms or strategies they're using and whether it's working. So anyways, so this is to say that I'm very selective about my news and where I get my news from, the sources of my information, and so that I know how to not only protect myself, but protect my environment, and know what to do and know what not to do. So of course we all know right now that washing our hands regularly is the number one key. We know that we shouldn't touch the face, because the COVID-19 virus seems to concentrate around the respiratory tract, so the eyes, the nose, the throat. So these are places that we should avoid touching and everything. So yes, and then of course there is this isolation that we have to practice, every one of us, self isolation, to stay away from crowds and people for now. And of course there is this thing about social distancing. So even if you do need to be with people, you need to keep a safe distance from them. Is it a meter or so? So it's funny, the other day I went shopping, and it's the second time I went this week, and I couldn't find certain basic items like toilet roll, um like rice, like pasta, like pizza. And it is alarming when you go to your local grocery store, supermarket, and you don't find these basic items that you used to find so readily. And this is when you realize that something very serious has happened, because you come to think as if, hey, you are in some kind of a war zone, that these basic amenities or the commodities, foodstuffs that you cannot find anymore. And so I noticed the slight change was that you had to keep a safe distance, not only from the teller, the cashier, the lady behind the till, but you also had to keep a safe distance from other shoppers. So that was something new. And this is where then, of course, you see that something is going on that is very unprecedented. So this is the second thing, to inform myself from reliable news sources about what I need to do to stay safe and to keep my environment clean, to avoid catching the COVID-19. And of course, teleworking for me was no longer an option, but it's something that I have to do. I've been sent home by my organization to telework, but I've used this as an opportunity to see whether I am truly teleworking, whether I am truly teleworking ready, if I can put it that way. So I've explored all the software at my disposal, and this is the opportunity to see how well I know them. And if for some of them I'm not very sure, I've never used them before because I've never really had the opportunity, I'm using this opportunity to perfect my skills and my knowledge of these software programs, and to use them so that indeed I am very effective and efficient in my teleworking, because I know and comfortable using the software applications at my disposal. And then it's an opportunity to check all my hardware and my software, and to see whether indeed I am protected. And yeah, so this is what I've been doing. And it's also an opportunity to learn certain software that I always meant to learn, but then I didn't seem to find the time. And so now is the time to do all such learning, which benefits me personally, but most importantly, my organization professionally. And what else? Yes. So, like I said, I've always been fascinated with technology. It's something that I've always wanted to learn, but somehow, because things are moving so fast and so exponentially, it's like, forget it. But then all of a sudden I said, no, I only have today. Look at what is happening around. I don't know where I'll be in the next year, 10 years or whatever, but right now I am healthy and I'm able. And this is something that I always wanted to do, is I really want to get behind technology and to understand how it works, to get behind this mobile phone, understand how it works, especially the software and the hardware. And like gaming, the area or the world of gaming is totally foreign to me. It's like Chinese or Greek, but it shouldn't be, because I think that for now, like, I see most of the games that I have had the I'm not sure whether I should say the fortune or misfortune of trying out. It's just been about, there's a lot of violence there, and I keep saying, why all these games so violent? Why can't there be other alternatives? But hey, if I want to see alternatives in the gaming industry in terms of other choices, because I think this environment can be used for education, for learning, and for other things. So maybe I should join the forces and also try to influence. And I also, at least if I know how to make a game, then maybe I can change things. But if I just stand um sit on the bench or fence or whatever and just criticize, and I'm not in the position to influence, that area, that industry, then poof. So anyway, basically I'm saying that I have decided to go back to school and to learn technology right from scratch. At least, regardless, I know that I tried. So hey, so I will be telling you about my journey, my adventure into this unknown world of technology. And as I get into the different areas, I'll bring you along with me. I'll tell you how I'm faring, and we'll see. It's just an adventure. So this is my decision to learn something new, and this is information technology, just to understand the history, how it all happened, how far back have we come, from the first computers. I learned that more or less we can talk of the beginning of the 1940s, where the first generation of computers were built, and now we're in the fourth generation of computers. So now when you talk of dual core and Pentium and whatever it is, then you know what you're talking about, and when they were put into circulation or when they were built. So this is good for me because it's something that I always wanted to know, but now I'm actually doing something about it and finding out for myself the whole world of technology, getting to understand it, you see, and how it works. And so, yes. And so the fourth item that I am trying to, and I say try because it's a struggle, is physical activity. That is a struggle, really. And it's to get myself to exercise indoors and then outdoors. That is a challenge, I must say. I'm still fighting it, but I will conquer it. And then the fifth item is that I am very conscious right now to drink lots and lots of liquids, so this helps to keep the respiratory tract dry, and of course my nose, my mouth, and everything. So just in case a COVID slips in somewhere, virus, it will just be channeled quickly and swiftly into my stomach, where my stomach acids will just kill it, and so it won't have any opportunity to linger and to cause any damage. So anyway, we know that the human body, I forget the percentage, is it 10% that is made up of liquids? So liquids, water is always something that we need, for digestion and for, so voila, water is something we must always use frequently in our day. So and what else? Yes, and I also add lime or lemon. I squeeze lemon or lime juice into my water, and because of the vitamin C, which is also a booster of the immune system. So this is another something that I can do to protect myself from COVID-19, or at least to boost my immune system to be stronger. And the sixth thing, therefore, is what? is the fruits and the vegetables. Honestly, I don't know. I think during the winter months, I don't really eat a lot of salads because it's cold, and so during the winter months, I really privilege warm food. And yes, I could have resorted to making more soups, but this is something that I just don't do. I just like to just have the sauces. So what I'm trying to say is that now I privilege um, a lot of fruits. This I'm very conscious of eating. And for the salads, now the weather is becoming warmer, so I I'll make a salad this evening, and I will try to do that in the mornings as well. But in the mornings, what I saw that I could do, because I did that yesterday, was that now that I have time to have a proper breakfast, for my sandwich, I can put an egg in it. I can spread peanut butter in it. So then I get my how do you call it? My seeds and grains and pulses, and then I can add a cucumber, sliced cucumber and tomatoes in it, and then I have at least a dose of vegetables, and we know that's good for the immune system. And the seventh habit that I'm using to just keep my body fit is, yeah, of course, it's the social distancing, meaning to keep away from people. This is an opportunity, really, a good excuse to avoid seeing certain people, and especially people that after you have been in their company, sometimes you walk away feeling bad and you don't know why. This is the opportunity to do this triage, to filter and sort people that you need to have in your life and people that you don't. And there's some people that you really don't need in your life. This is the time to do the sorting, and the sifting, and using this COVID-19 as an excuse. You say, oh, I can't see you anymore, or social distancing, self-isolation. Well, sorry. And then after the whole pandemic, you keep it that way. So this is, of course, one thing that you have to do: avoid unnecessary social contact and gathering with other people. So social distancing, like I said, in the supermarket, you have to keep a safe distance. I think it's 1 meter. Yeah, you use it, like I said, to get rid of certain people in your life that you don't need. And the eighth habit I'm introducing, it's present participle, still in the progress, okay, is to keep my mind constantly busy, from worry and panic, and that is to learn new skills and acquire new knowledges. So yes, I said I've gone back to school. I'm learning information management, but yeah, I'm just keeping the mind busy. Yeah, so I said I'm pursuing a course. And the ninth thing is that I'm introducing is to pursue my passion. So this is why I am recording this. I love, like I said, technology. I love all that is digital. I want to improve on my filmmaking skills. And so this is why I have a YouTube channel. I was going through my YouTube channel today, and I saw that, in fact, I started 7 years ago, and that's a long time. And yeah, it can be argued that I really haven't progressed. Well, it's simply because I haven't given it the much time and attention that I should. I've been very reticent, very why do I say it? Very reluctant, you see, to actually push it forward, like really bring out my camera, and because there's a trade-off you have to consider when you want to do YouTube. it's either you want to maintain your privacy or you want to lose it, you see. And so it's that balance for me that keeps me where I am. It's like, how much do I want to show? How much do I want to reveal of who I am, and so forth? Because I do want to keep a certain level of privacy, but at the same time, too, I want to acquire the skill. I want to shoot my own movies. I want to make my own movies. I want to learn the art and craft of filmmaking. And the only way of doing it is actually filming, you see. And so for now, I am my own character and or actor, and so yeah, but that's it. So I need to decide whether I want to push this further and whether I want to, and I'm ready to reveal more of who I am. So this is it. But this is why I have a YouTube channel. This is why I film and all that. And what else can I do? Yeah. The 10th thing, of course, the 10th thing, of course, the habit that I'm trying to maintain is the sleep, you know, is to make sure that I have built in healthy enough sleep time in my day, you know. The 8 hours, forget it. My system no longer does that. So at least what I do is I try to wake up naturally, and then this is the way my body tells me that it has had enough sleep and that all the renewal and replenishment of my cells have happened. And this is how my body stays healthy, by through the rest and relaxation that I get in sleep, the deep sleep, you know. So this is, yeah, that was the 10. And the 11th habit that I've introduced into my day is to still keep sociable if you can in these times, but is to still keep these social links, you know, through calling, through calls, and through social media. But yes, but I've decided to be less reactive, that anything time I have a message or a notification, I don't spontaneously go and respond or to see, you know. I leave it, and then when I'm ready, I give it some time, and then I go and check it. So I'm less dependent on the need to constantly be connected. So this is it, because I think you need to break sometimes all that noise, and you need to establish this area of calm and peace. And lastly, tying it all together, I think I've come to learn how to accept situations and circumstances in my life that I cannot control. For example, this COVID-19, I believe that good can come out of it. I already see the good coming out of it. I see people who have become more human. I see the acts of solidarity among strangers. I see how people are volunteering, you know, to help other people. And today, even I read a letter from the Secretary General, who is appealing to the world leaders, to governments, to the business community, to show solidarity in these very harsh times, because we haven't seen the end of the COVID-19. And even if supposedly we all recover from a health point of view, medical, there is the repercussions to the economy, to society. Many people, you know, like the other time I heard of an airline that is going to lay 90% of its staff. We're talking about people, we're talking about families, we're talking of their livelihoods, you know. We're talking of people in the gig economy, even, you know, big corporations, you know, they all need basically lots of the economies today, especially the developed economies, are service-based, so if people are not able to be in contact with other people and to serve them with not only with good but with services, it puts people out of work. What about these small and medium-sized businesses? How are they going to manage? They depend on their sales of their services or their goods to survive. How are they going to pay their workers? How are they going to pay their rent? This is scary. This is really, really scary, because such people, I don't know, 2 weeks, maybe they can survive beyond that. So it's going to affect every single body, directly or indirectly. And so we really, maybe COVID-19 is the opportunity the world needs to shift and change the order, to introduce a new paradigm which is more human, which is more fair, which is more equal, which is more human, which puts the human being in the center of all activity, economic or other, which, do things differently. Because honestly, if you ask me, the world that we had before, there were lots of things that were not good or pretty about it. Really, there were lots that, it was just so unjust and so unfair and so unequal and so, yeah, voila. So who knows? Maybe this is an opportunity for all of us to rethink how we want to shape the world, how we want to transform the world, how we want our world to be, And the little that I've seen of how people can come together in solidarity and help each other, breaking down all the barriers that used to separate them and coming to what is important, like the humanity of each and every one of us. It gives me a lot of hope. So maybe the world needed this, I don't know, but for me, I just feel that something good will come out of all this bad. I really do believe so. I really believe that it's an opportunity for all of us to stop and to think and to rethink how we would like to live in this world and how we would like to reshape it to be what we really want to be. Because it's true that there have been lots of demonstrations, marches, strikes, I don't know. But has that really changed things? Not really. I think maybe it's time that we all sit together and see what it is we want, what is important to us as human beings. What world would we like to reshape? Maybe this is the opportunity that we have been waiting for. And I say this simply because in my organization, for the last, I think from 2008, I think 2008 to now, we've been talking about flexible working. And even the debates that we've had on flexible working, it was allowing a few people to go to use this type of working practice. And up until now, even though we did have a policy, that policy was not used massively. It was used by a very few minority. But thanks to COVID-19, the whole organization, at least at headquarters Geneva, were asked to telework, okay? And it was just the minority, a few people with very sensitive roles, with very essential roles, were asked to stay and physically report to work. But the default was that everybody teleworks. So now, at least thanks to COVID-19, we know that teleworking en masse, where the majority telework, is possible. It's true that we're yet to analyze and to see how effective that it was, but we know that because we have the technology that we have today, because we have the skills and the knowledges to use the technology that is available today, we are able to work efficiently remotely, via teleworking. So this is no longer an argument. So that argument has been debunked. So it means that if we can all, or most of us can telework, then maybe it's an opportunity to review and to see how we can do other things, because teleworking has its advantages. It doesn't break your day that you have to leave and go and take transport and then you come back. No, you can build in work in your daily life that it flows, and this you can get so creative and everything. And of course, when there is the need to meet physically, you do so. But for me personally, I think that it's a better fit for me than to have to leave my place every day and go elsewhere and to work and to come back. For me, I prefer teleworking. And if it's an option, it's an option that I would like to pursue beyond COVID-19. So, what I'm trying to say is that I have adopted this attitude of gratitude, of thankfulness, and that I take everything in my stride. It doesn't mean that I'm passive, it doesn't mean that, I just accept everything, but what I can control, I do, and what I can't, I just give it, just um, accept and take it that maybe there is deeper meaning to it all. So likewise, I think COVID-19 is a huge opportunity for humanity to rethink the way we are building